Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for 86, episode 4. We're here one day late. I really didn't want to record yesterday, and so I pushed it to today because there's no D&D, and we'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm not like 1,000% right now, but I'm close enough and awake enough, and so we're just gonna go for it. Forgive me if I make any focus-based mistakes. I don't feel like I'm super focused. I feel a little bit scattered, so forgive me for that. And this might get weird and tangenty. Who knows? I don't know. Um, Last week's episode, happy fun times, nothing weird at all. No, had a bit of the episode dedicated to meeting and understanding the cast of characters of Spearhead Squadron better, and it was good. I'm honestly just going to leave it there. There's plenty of discussion in the comments around the river scene and whether people think it was servicey or not servicey, or whether that matters or whether it's good. And in almost every case, people are arguing that this didn't feel weird to me. It felt like it seemed like it was going to be the trope, and then it wasn't the trope. And also people saying that, it looked like you were waiting for this trope to occur and then realized that it wasn't going to occur and seemed pleased by that, which is exactly what happened. I thought we were going to turn into trash with a bathing suit sequence, and we didn't, so I'm happy. Good job, show. And then, of course, we transitioned into a little bit of battle where something went a little bit wrong. We lost Kirsche Blüte, and she's dead, and we got to meet her as a character with the real face and stuff, too. And now she's dead. Welcome to this world. I think the death was handled really well, and I think the aftermath of the death is what's starting our story off right. Lena got laid the fuck into by I don't even know the guy's name. I'm sorry, I actually don't. Got absolutely laid the fuck into by him for every aspect of her being, every aspect of what the Alba do, and was essentially called out in a brutal fashion for her ineptitude. Not ineptitude, that she has no effect. She's ineffective and naive and doesn't understand the situation. But there's nuance to it. There's a lot of nuance to it. And that's going to be a bit of what we talk about as we transition into the comment spotlight here. So I'm going to say now that this is going to be a bit of a comment spotlight. We'll see how long this one goes. There are a lot of comments on this episode, and part of that is because I released it on YouTube yesterday, and so some of the YouTube commenters have had time to filter in and get their comments in by the time I'm getting this video up, which is actually kind of neat. It's kind of cool to have more variety of comments to look through. There are a bunch of comments giving me happy birthday wishes, and I will thank you all collectively for those. There were a bunch of comments that pointed out that I made a subtle mistake in believing that the death of Kirsche Blut was or will be looked at as Lena's fault, when it's clearly not, based on how the show progresses it, right? She's already heading toward the Loa that's in the trapped area. It's just that Lena would have been capable of saving her if she had noticed on the map earlier. So it's not her fault at all, and she didn't give her the order at all. It's just that she could have potentially saved her, but she wasn't fast enough or good enough. It just didn't happen. It's just an unfortunate circumstance, which honestly makes the whole beration at the end more interesting, because some of it becomes a little bit less justified. I'm going to actually spotlight two comments that are on this topic because I think they were interesting. The first one comes from RY, and it's a short one that is very nice and short and perfectly puts together that whole statement. By the way, Lena was not the one giving Kaia the order, but she was late to stop her from moving there. Enjoy the roller coaster. Thank you, RY. I appreciate this comment. And I will also say Foxtrix's comment. Where is it? The Kaie thing isn't more of Melise commanding her to her death, but more of Kaie making her own decision to go after the Loa, but failing to spot that it was a trap with the wetlands. Melise probably felt that since she's equipped with the new map that Annette found, she could have done better and warned Kaie ahead of time and possibly prevented her death. That's why it weighed on her, and she considered it her fault. One thing that I might have probably changed was to maybe keep the death of someone from the Spearhead Squadron a secret all the way till the end of the episode, instead of just identifying them by the call sign right at the start. I'm ambivalent on this. I thought it was good. It gave us tension. It indicated that they were going to die at some point, and because I wasn't familiar with Kaie being Kirsche Blüte, I wasn't sure about it until we really got into the moment, and I thought that was very effective for me. For the short time that we got to know her, they did a pretty good job with Kaya's characterization and making her likable as a result. That's why it was a pain to see her gone so soon. Hard agree. Definitely would have had more impact if we didn't know that it was her. Personally, while it was airing, I was kind of spoiled seeing the animators post quite a bit of thank you illustrations featuring Kaya right after the episode aired in Japan and before the episode was subbed. Welp. That sucks that it got spoiled for you. I wasn't aware, and that's my fault for not recognizing that Kirsten Blut and Kaya were the same person. I actually wasn't aware. For a minute, I thought it was the reddish, maroonish-haired girl, the one with her crush. I didn't know. So it ended up being pretty effective for me, but that's more like my fault than it is the show's purpose. There are a couple of comments up and down and over and around in different places about an offhand comment that I made where I said that he was Kirito, that Shine was Kirito. This is, to be fair, like, I understand that this is maybe like a sore spot because it seems like a dumb comparison, and it is a dumb comparison. It's also not that dumb a comparison. He's a black-haired A1 Pictures boy who's edgy. Like, come on, it's not that weird. It's fine. It is a joke. I'm not actually comparing Shine's character to Kirito, but like strong, silent male protagonist, black hair boy in middle of a group of people leading. It actually tracks. It tracks to me perfectly. He looks like Kirito. That's all that it is. It's just a joke. And if sorry, he does look like Kirito to me. I see that. I don't know if you don't see that, but I don't know how you don't see that. He looks like an A1 Pictures protagonist, and they all look like Kirito. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's fine. It's not a problem. It's just a joke. Okay. Ira S. What was Ira's comment? Yes, this one is good. Ira S. writes, "Oof, I know it might be a bit unfair to Lena to say this, however, I love the fact that she shed a tear only after being told off and not after Kaie died. Kind of shows that even though she was sad after she died, it wasn't that devastating to her, and it was mostly guilt since she made a mistake that caused it and not actually being devastated by the fact that Kaie died." Maybe more that she's getting chewed out, or that her whole worldview and everything that she thinks about herself being like an acceptable person is getting torn to shreds. I think that's what causes the crying there. But the outburst that happened destroyed Lena's way of thinking about herself and undermined all her work and motives. Exactly. Sorry, I should have read on. Which understandably is devastating to her. I'm waiting to see how this changes her in the future. Me too! I should have saved this one comment for last, because that would be a great transition into the next part, but I'm not going to do that. Harry Dresden. Harry Dresden. She literally asked for the name of the cat before the thought of asking them for their names even crossed her mind. Oof. This is the episode that sold me on the show. Yeah, that makes sense. The end bit is very cathartic. Often when anime or fiction overall deals with racism or discrimination, it's generally just glances over anything beyond the explicit. You get your usual malicious explicit behavior, and then the good guy protagonist would save the disenfranchised by caring, and racism solved somehow magically. Woo! Stories that are like that generally feel good, but they overlook the actual factors that make discrimination take hold within society, thus avoiding to address the complicity of every part of the system that perpetuates it. Yep. And the reality is the white robes wearing cross-burning bad guys generally don't exist in a vacuum. They don't poof into existence out of nowhere. They are allowed to. People might shrug or say that it's wrong, but they still comply and participate and live out their lives because in the end it does not affect them directly. Okay, I like a lot of the stuff in here. I don't know about the because in this last sentence, and I think that a lot of the statements that you make end up being really broad. It's okay. I agree with them still, but they do end up being broad. Just be careful when you're making arguments like this that you use more specificity to some extent. I think that's important, but it's okay. So it's damn cathartic to see a character like Lena be actually made aware by narrative that just because she wants to feel good about herself morally does not necessarily make her a better person from her peers. She talks the good talk, but at the end of the day, she does sit in a nice posh house drinking tea and half-heartedly listening to the people who are forced to fight for their lives. Because a lot of her care and ideal is directed inward rather than outward. She's not willing to upset the status quo nor really risk anything. Sure, she goes to make speeches at the academy and stuff, but the show explicitly tells the audience she's kind of being protected from the blowback that would come from those speeches because of her uncle. She's safe, she's surrounded by privilege, but not even really aware of most of it. She consciously espouses all the big things about 86 treatment being unfair, but subconsciously she still participates in that treatment and she still views them as the other, in a more positive light, but still. She gets command of a unit, tells them she cares, wants to feel like she's helping or saving them, but in the end, just like with her previous unit, nothing changes. New people, new care, new pity, same system that grinds them down into certain death. Honestly, that rant at the end is genuinely needed to contextualize summarize this episode for me. It puts every scene there into context and directly contrasts it to Lena's own privilege. It's honestly something absolutely needed if Lena is to progress into any sort of character going forward. And in a meta way, the narrative also turns around to the audience and straight up tells us that it's aware that discrimination is far more complex and horrifying than merely people being mean, and that this won't be that kind of story, and that the one writing it is actually genuinely interested to get to the deeper, messier aspects of this awful setting. I'm not even going to respond to this. I'm not even going to respond to this. I'm sorry. I think this is a great set of comments. However, there is a counterpoint to it, and I'm going to bring it up, and it comes in the form of comment from, who is it? So this is at the end of a comment from Vita Winter. It's why I couldn't find where it was, because I decided not to read out this comment. Honestly, Vita, the reason that I'm reading this is not because you don't have great points throughout, and you do, and some of them are nicely critical of my reaction and the way that I discussed things, but there are a lot of disconnected things in the comment, and it's just too much for me to read right now. So I'm just going to read the last paragraph. I agree that Lena needed a privilege, and this is in direct response to some extent of the previous comment that we just read. I agree that Lena needed a privilege check, but I wouldn't exactly compare her level of doing nothing to just Twitter posting. This girl is a 16-year-old who tries to climb the ranks to make a difference, thus the youngest major, tries to spread the word among the next generation of military officers because telling adult officers seems useless anyway, and even then in episode 1 she would have scolded those drunks if not for her friend. Tries to help her squad by providing maps and doing her job properly. Sure, she's very privileged, and yes, she has a savior complex, and sure, to them she comes off as a preachy saint, but just like lashing out at her for millions of deaths is not exactly fair, you can't call her passive and utterly useless either. At the end of the day, she's just a teenager trapped in a society with fucked ideals. If she goes to the front lines, she'll most likely be a hindrance and easily killed. If she goes to the streets and preaches, she'll get called crazy or ignored at best. It's that what can one person do type of problem. I think if you take these two separate paragraphs, these two separate arguments, and you put them on either side of a balance, they actually end up kind of balancing out in a really, really nice way. One of them is saying, yeah, fucking Lena. She's not doing anything. She's entrenched in privilege. She's in the midst of a system, and she's not actually effectively changing it. All of that is true. She is trying, though. And there's a question here, which is how much credit do you give to trying? And I don't know. It depends on the type of trying, and it depends on the thing that you're fighting against, right? And how effective it is. I think it's clear that Lena needs a new perspective. Like, she needs a new angle, because what she's doing is not working. And so instead of, I'll back off from saying Lena bad, because I don't think Lena's bad. And I don't necessarily think that she's quite as useless as a Twitter poster. But she is about as useless as, like, an activist who starts a nonprofit and runs a nonprofit. And yeah, it makes some money, and yeah, puts that money toward their cause, but makes like no dent, makes like teensy tiny dent, and dedicates their entire life to making no dent, right? Is admirable, yeah, interesting, cool, great. But it's so much more self-congratulatory than it is actually effective, and that's where the issue comes in. And so I feel like people who view the act of attempting to create change as like morally significant in itself, and I do think it is, versus people who view the actual creation of change as the necessity, right? Because it's so different. There are like, what is it? There's a quote about this. It's about there are like no two more different things than talking about something and actually doing it. I don't know. I've heard this quote somewhere. And it really sticks in my mind a little bit because it's exactly the concept here. I think Lena's heart's in the right place. I think her actual capacity to create change is, I don't know what she's going to do. And so it comes back to that what can one person do type of problem. And I hope that we find a way to answer that question in a really interesting way. Because there are a lot of things that one person can do. And some of them feel empty or hollow the way that some of Lena's current actions have. And some of them actually might work. I'm really excited to see where we go with that. Okay, a couple more. Yes. With 53 upvotes, I believe, with updoots, I believe this is the most liked comment. This is from Oberon127, which is a cool name, by the way. One thing that stood out to me in this episode that you didn't touch on much is how many little nonverbal character moments are in the barracks lounge scene. Not just the moments themselves, but the way they're used to reinforce their distance from Lena. It starts with Shin's lie about a rat, from the way that Shin pats the side of the seat beside him to welcome Karina back, and the looks people share when she returns, to the card game going on, to Kirschblut's sideways glance toward a person she's talking about. There's entire layers of conversation happening completely unspoken. It goes to show how close these people are and how used they all are to communicating quietly while there's a handler listening in. And how, for all that Lena thinks that she's made friends with the squad, the truth is she's only gotten as close as they care to let her. The retread through that conversation from Lena's perspective, alone in her room, missing everything that's happening behind the spoken conversation, really drives that home. Yeah, that's actually super sick. I haven't brought it up. Adery Gregan writes later in a different comment. I find it curious that he hasn't mentioned it and possibly hasn't even noticed it, but there have been so many little things in these past 3 episodes that add so much to the experience of watching this show, and that's true. That's true. Similarly, these little character animations are without a doubt one of my favorite aspects of this show, and I hope the team mentions/notices it at some point, because it really is something special about the show that most shows don't really bother with nowadays. Yep, super true. Super true. I really hope he picks this out in the comment spotlight when he records the next step. You got it. It's one of my favorite aspects of how the show depicts the space between the Spearhead Squad and Lena. I also really love the shortcut where the cat is pawing at Karina's hair, and coincidentally her ear that has the para-raid when she sits back down. Begrudgingly, Karina then rejoins the call after the cat prompts her. It feels similar to the scene in episode 2 where Lena talked about their hearts being connected, only for the braided cord on her jacket to fall from where it connects to her heart. Yep, there's a lot of little symbolic stuff, and little bits of character moments that aren't as how do I put this? They're Kyo-N-E-E. It's a terrible adverb, terrible adjective. They're Kyo-N-E-esque. They are. They're Yamada-ish. They're in the realm of that, where stuff going on indicates different emotions or different feelings than what's being explicitly said. It's useful in the context of having them on the para-raids in particular, or like the equivalent of being on the phone with somebody. It's quite useful, and it does a lot for the show. And yeah, for sure. For show. There's another comment somewhere, I don't even know where it is, that talks about likening it to Monogatari when there are cool things going on that keep us invested in the conversation or in the scene when exposition or boring stuff is happening or just conversation is occurring, like playing the cards or doing little things, similar to Monogatari characters doing weird things that go on while all the dialogue is happening. I think it's really good, and I think it's an extraordinarily good way to adapt, in particular, a light novel, which is all text mostly, right? And so you got a lot of text that has to be turned into scenes. And what do you do in those scenes? Well, the magical door open kind of answer is, well, whatever the fuck you want with those scenes. As long as there's not explicitly something else going on, you can do what you please and examine these characters from a visual lens while they speak and stuff. And that's really cool. It's solid. It's good. It's good. It's good. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the comment spotlight. I think that's a lot. I think that's a lot of comment spotlight here, and I think that's going to be plenty for now. Thank you, everybody, for writing your thoughtful and insightful comments, and the other ones. There are a few of the other ones too, but that's good. Thanks for all the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate them. And thanks for, paying attention to the show and paying attention to what I say as I try to pay attention to the show, and adding to the discussion, because I've got one set of eyes. And I've got one brain, and my eyes are flawed, and, well, actually, my eyes are better than perfect in terms of actually being eyes. Sorry. But they are limited. They're limited. And I can only see things as I see them, and I can only see them through my own perspective and my own lens, and I can only integrate them and incorporate them in the way that my brain is capable of doing so, and that's different from the way that you do so. And so if you do so in a way that's different from how I do it, you can write that in a comment, and then you can transfer some of your knowledge and your information and the way that you interpreted the thing to me and the rest of the audience, and then I can read it, and then maybe I'll read it out in the next comment spotlight, and then we'll expand our entire interpretation, and everybody gets better at observing anime, right? Like, that's the kind of the goal. It's to be better as people, but also to be better as active observers or active viewers of media. And I think that's really cool. So help me out. Write more comments. Keep doing it. I mean, I might gripe that it's going to be a long comment spotlight. We spent 25 minutes on this shit, and we did. But I'm stoked by that. I'm happy about that. Yeah, give me like 70 comments in the first day. Let's go, guys. Let's fucking yeah. And most of them are good. I mean, there are a bunch of that are just like happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, but there are a bunch of paragraphs here too. And some of those paragraphs have thought put into them. Like, good job, guys. Good job, folks. Yeah. Yeah. I'll end off with Jonathan Desrosiers. Happy birthday, and wow, I'm in a YouTube video. You pronounced my last name pretty well. I still don't know if I did it okay this time, but Desrosiers. Sorry. Thanks, Jonathan. Glad to have you along. Okay. Finally, the comments are done. Wow. So here we are, moving into episode 4 of 86. We just kicked off in the most exciting manner during the end of episode 83. Lena is currently fucking shook, or she should be, after getting her entire worldview and perspective on herself torn to shreds. As I've said it before, and I'll say it again. She just got bodied, blown the fuck out, destroyed, wrecked, wasted. Poor Lena. Poor Lena. What now, girl? What now, girl? Now, we know one thing she's not gonna do is she's not gonna go and fucking give up, because then the show would be over. But what's she gonna do? How's she gonna do it? Is she gonna go to authority? Is she gonna go past authority? Is she gonna try to be more like emotionally there for these characters? Is she gonna try to go to the front lines? I don't think so. I don't think that's how this story goes. I don't know what Lena will do now, and that's exciting. So let's watch the episode, and I guess we'll just have to find out how things play. We know what the Spearhead Squadron is going to do, right? To some extent. We'll see how they all react to his blow-up, because that will be an interesting tell as well. Like, how will Shine respond to that? How will the rest of the squad respond to it? Because all of them were sort of like letting him finish, but letting him finish, right? Like, what's next? I don't know. But otherwise, they're going to mourn the loss, take a piece of her juggernaut and put it in the box that he carries around with him, etc., etc. So the onus, the burden is on Lena. What do you change? Because they'll keep being Spearhead Squadron with you. It's just that this is going to shake the friendship aspect, because that wasn't real ever, right? So do you try to become real friends? What do you do, Lena? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, girl? So that's where I'm at. I want to know what she's going to do. And that's where we're at. And we're going to watch episode 4 and find out where we end up in 24 minutes. Great. I'm going to take a quick break because it's been a long spotlight, and I'll be back in a second to count down and beep timer and all that jazz. See you in a sec. All right, welcome back. Here we go. We've got episode 4 of 86 up and ready to go. It's 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture, in the description. Timer on YouTube. Beep timer to count you down. Also, early access on the Patreon. Check it out. Beep timer. Let's go. Was waiting for that. In fucking sensed. Got him. Theo. Oh, buddy. That's well handled, honestly. Yeah, the gripped hands. Go him in the side, and we kill it. Yikes. OP? Oof. Yep, last thing she said. Clonk, blank, bam. Mm. I like that. I like that a lot from Theo. His name is Theo. Theo, 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 Theo. He'll try. I'd love more clarification on exactly what he thinks he means by I did the same thing as the white pigs. Like, just blowing up at her is the same thing? Like, or is it the tainting of death? I'm not sure. I love the idea of I've tainted your death. Like, oh, this is a mistake because in this moment of mourning, I was incensed. I was angry. That's really cool. Nope, we're back to playing. He's lost a little bit, yeah. Hey, Justice Lady. Hello, Fido. Not gonna happen. That's a cat, dude. That's sick. Uh, uh, I don't feel laughing. Yes. Yes, you are. Uh-oh. What? Hmm. Hmm. The who? The who? Who the Fox Commander? Oh. Some magical 86 who's really important? Named the Fox Commander? Is it the same one who saved Lena? Buttoned up. Ah. Uh. This guy. Yeah, he just walks around angry. Fox Commander. Interesting. Nah. You think you broke Lita? Hmm. It's not who he wants to be. Cool. Connection. What now? I want to know your real names. All right, other side. Here we are. When are we? Is this? I just showed it. It just showed it. I just didn't read it. I'm stupid. Uh-huh. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable to just live in this world. Also probably not useful. Right. Just shove food and delicious things in your face until you forget. Cover it up. Just cover it up. That's not healthy. God damn it, Annette. You suck. That was a great pudding animation. I know yours. I'm not their friend. You knew the cat's name. This is great because this is almost internal. Which is why it hurts so much to have this called out. Because you actually didn't think that. Great time to give up. I don't like Annette. Mmm. 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 That's probably true. I will do no such thing. Great conversation. Not when it's shitty advice, Annette. Names. Ooh, color shift. We going to see the uncle again? Father? History. So will she meet that fox boy? Commander. He was against it from the start, right? What we're doing to the 86s. Con camps. What will we see out there? Battle. The unexpected. Hello, uncle. So he died with her there. Interesting. You know. Yeah, and she actually identifies with the statue. Actually. But she's going to get the same shit from Uncle Jerome, but there's no following his ideals. It's not possible. Sure. Which is That's why he went, because he thought he wouldn't die. Oh, that's so juicy. Uh-huh. She's gonna try. Is he gonna try to switch it? Lies, 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 lies. Hmm. No, not even a little bit. Ah. Yes, yes, but ooh, another update. Blend. No human injuries or fatalities. Where are you running to? This is when she. This is when she synced? Whoa. What a move. Where are you going, Lena? Where are you going? Oh. Doesn't help. Okay. What's your name? There's a need to be. It kind of is. It's a mature perspective. I see Melise as a name at the very end. Good. Associating that action with self. That was really, really insightful from Lena. Sweet. Request again. Shine. Shine. Ah, starts with her. Good, 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 good. That's better. I like that. Bam, bam, bam. Names, 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 names. Cool. Cool. Cool location to shoot the scene as well. Is she going to do anything else here? Vaclav, there it is, yeah. Got work. Yeah. That's why we're here. There we go. Ooh, she's gonna carve their name into the thing. Is she gonna do it? That's defacing public property. Yikes. Right, this is what you do. Undertaker. Until the Undertaker is undertaken. Part of it? There's something else to it. Yeah, right now. Ding ding. All right, bringing in an insert. Awkward. Same energy as like pushing somebody into a group. Mina. Yeah. Oh, that's where we're transitioning out. I mean, there's end stuff too, but cool. Ooh, disco ball. Checked privilege. Darts. Everybody looks at him like. Bastard. Yup. Got him. Oh, nice. I bet that's the same guy who saved her ass. Nope, I was wrong. It's her dad. It's her dad. It's her fucking dad. No? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. Ah, I thought it was gonna be too cliche. I thought it was gonna be. I would have been happy about it, but no. For sure. Sure. Okay. Kosobuta-chan. What the fuck, Theo? Ugh, ew. This guy's worse. I'm so sorry for that. You stupid hypocrite pig. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Damn. We can actually form friendship off of that as a basis, though. Personally, I don't recommend it. Fair enough. We'll see, motherfucker. We'll fucking see, dude. Yeah, she laughs at it. Very well. That's so good. Yeah. That would be great. All right, we'll skip through the rest of them as quickly. Uh, uh, wah. Great. Now it'll double hurt when they all die. Fuck. 48 seconds. What's next? What do we got? Boing. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, that's the one that saved her. Brother? Brother? Oh, I bait and switched myself. Okay. I bait and switched myself. I was like, oh, it's her dad. Oh my god, it's her. And then the other one just being like, oh, it's that. Ah! No, 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 no. Her brother saved him. Saved her. His brother. Fuck. His brother saved her. God, I can't. Words. Sick. That's a cool connection. So that's the 86 that changed her. But also, her father had his own attitude as well. Vaclav. Oh, there are so many unexpected turns in terms of the way that these interactions play out over the course of this episode. It's the thing that stands out to me the most is that nothing plays out in a way that I would have expected it to. It's really quite cool. Yeah, it's really quite cool. I like the way that they respond to his outburst and are like, we fully understand why you're doing this, but bruh, too much. Really good. I love the way that we aftermath through it. How it's an immediate cut to like play and happiness among the 86s. There's no time to mourn here. Their life just has to go on. This is the reality of everything. And that's pretty cool. And he's being all stubborn, and so they're bringing him back. We're watching a community bring somebody back into the fold, right? That's really cool. And we bring up the Fox commander, who is, I guess, not her dad. I really thought it was for a second, but okay, what would the commander have said? Love this big thing blocking them, breaking them, switching them, messing them up, splitting the frame apart. It's really solid. And some of these moments here where we get character faces, just moments of emotional stand there, solid. We saw how well that can be effective in one of the episodes of No No Biyori where Renge just stands there and cries. It's really effective, and it's used really well in this circumstance. And we get our call in and our transition out. Oh, this part sucks. Talking to Annette sucks, right? Why does it suck so much? It's because, to me, it sucks so much because Annette is full aware of exactly what's going on, and she is a willful ignorant person, right? She is very much makes the choice to not see it, or to not think about it. We have to accept that we live in our own world. She is the like proponent for bystanderism, essentially. And she is, as Melissa's best friend, a lot of the dialogue that they have honestly feels like an internal dialogue for Melise. What I mean narratively is that while Annette is her own character, she's really just an extension of the psychological profile that is Melise, and having her argue against this other character serves as more of a dialectic purpose to create the argument as a whole, rather than actually feeling like two characters interacting. Even though it still bridges the gap, and Annette reads to me as another character. It's just interesting. So what would be okay then? What can you do? The way that you're acting, the way that is working isn't working. So what would you do? Go to the 86 and fight alongside them? That's not going to work. You can't do that. That's not going to help. It won't do anything. What are you going to do? You're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to try to be their friends? Like, what can you do? Nothing. And so her answer is, what you need to do is spoil yourself. And I think, and this is part of the reason that I bring it up, is like this being an internal monologue. This is the sort of argument that we make to ourselves all the time, right? When you're stressed and like you don't know exactly what to do, there's a strong temptation to go to whatever it is that gives you peace or relief, right? Like alcohol, drugs, food, sleep, escape from it, right? Pretend that it doesn't exist. Spoil yourself. What you need to do is realize that you're in a great place, so fucking spoil yourself. Have whatever you want, man, and just forget about it. Just forget about it. It's all good. Whatever. It's really hard. It's really hard to hold the moral high ground and think about children starving around the world when you're eating a delicious slice of cake. It's really hard to think about those starving children when that chocolate cake is just raw. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going on here, at least in my mind. And it's real bad from Annette. Like, I hate it. But it's also really good from a character perspective. She does a really good job of laying things out for Lena. It's like, you're stuck here. This is the situation. You should just chill. Don't do anything. Maybe stop being a handler. This seems to be causing you stress, man. Your job sucks. Come play with me in the lab. We'll have pudding and cake all the time. And of course, I'm not in the mood. This world is a wonderful place where you can sneak in a pudding snack in the middle of the day. It's not wonderful. Not at all. And Annette, the little interaction of little action of like, this is my statement. And then she hits back on it. It's like, damn it, that didn't work. What the fuck do I do? It's very clear that she's doing this like friend trying to convince her friend to get out of a rut sort of thing. But she's not putting in the effort to fully understand what Lena's going through because she doesn't want to. If she did, it would indict herself, right? It would be hurtful to her own way of looking at things. So she can't do that. She's not going to do that. So she tries to minimize it. Why is it such a big deal? You don't even need to know them. You're never going to meet them. You don't care. They're just 86s. Well, because I know you. We're friends, and part of that friendship is my knowledge of you as a human being. And that includes your name. It's your identifier. It's who you are. It's necessary. It's wrong that I don't know theirs, especially if I'm going to try to be their friend. Or anything, let alone send them into battle. So what? A name is who you are. And I didn't even think about it. Bingo. Nailed it. So why is she sad about this particular thing? Well, because the name thing really hit hard. Because they didn't ask. Yeah, this is great. This is great. This is really good. It's really solid. It reminds me of a Scanlan thing in Critical Role. I'm not even going to spoil it. I'm not even going to spend the time to. But there's a conflict that happens between Scanlan and some of the other characters, and the thing that comes out is he's pissed at them for basically taking him for granted, and he asks them, "What was my mother's name?" Because a huge part of his character's backstory is that his mom was killed by a goblin, and so he hates goblins, and it's part of who he is, and it's a huge portion of the way he sees the world. And he goes, "What was my mother's name? Do any of you know? None of you know. You don't give a fuck about me." And he's right. And it hits deep because it's true. If you care about somebody, you usually try to figure out their name. And she didn't. And so Annette hits back. If you really thought that, you would have asked their names right away. Exactly. Exactly. That's the problem. The problem is the fact that I didn't ask their names right away indicates that all my thoughts about being friends with these people and treating them like humans are false, subconsciously at least. I'm on my high horse, I'm on my pedestal, I'm patting myself on the back for being the best, friendliest handler, but I still don't view them as people. Oops. And so Lena starts actively trying to change that, to change the fact that she doesn't view them as people, really. And that comes from trying to get to know them. And it has massive ramifications because getting to know them and knowing their names is what unlocks the knowledge of the brother connection, right? And Annette hits with, this is a great time to stop trying to get closer to any of them. What a great opportunity you have to disconnect yourself from your moral compass. This feels bad, right? It feels bad to be immoral. Why don't you just throw away morality then? And then you don't have to worry about it at all. A thought. Just a thought. Hey, you feel real bad about yourself because you've been murdering people. What if you didn't care? Then you could do it all the time. It's like, doesn't fix the root of the problem, Annette. But that's the other argument is, the root of the problem cannot be fixed. Right? That's Annette's perspective. And so what's the point? It's really quite good. There's putting here and not there. So we don't want to get involved. It just leads us to having regrets. Just come hang out with me in the lab, and you should listen when your best friend gives you advice. And this is sinister to me. We'll see, but this feels sinister. It's not a breakup, but it feels like one, and we'll see. I love the color transition. The white starkness of the lab to the orange glow of this hallway. And it immediately makes me think of Uncle Jerome. We've associated that character and those interactions with this color palette, and it works really well. And we flash through into the past. Let's go to the battlefield. I'll show you all these things. You're at war, yes, and we're doing something even worse. Here are the concentration camps. Let's go to the battlefield. We just get flashes. Okay? Zing, bang, choppers going down probably, eyes, fighting, a Juggernaut, or that might have been a Legion thing. I think that is a Legion thing because of the way that it's shaped with the guns. She has this shocking moment, and then Jerome is there. Hi, I'm your friendly neighborhood uncle man. Thinking about that, I was glad that I could see it. Glad. Because I saw it with my own eyes. I realized that what we're doing is a falsehood. And I was able to learn the truth about this country. I was able to hold the ideals that the Republic threw away. And he just goes, it's so unexpected here. It's so unexpected. It's not at all what I thought he was going to do or say. He was a good husband and a good father. That's why he decided to teach you about this country. It's a terrible shame that an enemy took a man with such a strong sense of justice. But he didn't realize, just like the rest of the Republic, he wasn't doing any more than watching. Awareness doesn't do shit. It's important. I'm not trying to say that it's not, because nothing can happen unless that awareness is present. If you're an 86 and you literally buy the propaganda, if you're an Alba and you're walking around San Magnolia or whatever, and you buy the propaganda, and you literally don't know that there are 86s out there riding these things and dying, then there's no way that you could do anything. So it's fundamental. The awareness is necessary. But on its own, it doesn't do shit. It doesn't do anything. In the end, no matter how much you talk about equality, it's not you who's fighting. This coming from a superior officer who, probably by way of being a superior, has a lot of handlers under him, and thus is, to some extent, in charge of multiple squadrons who are all constantly dying, right? He knows that this is the case. He felt, and this is the nail in the coffin for the argument here, he felt subconsciously that only the 86 die on the battlefield. That's why he was willing to bring you out there. because to some extent he thought he was immune. Because 86 died on the battlefield, not Alba. The fact that he did something so reckless for the sake of his ideals and he turns away from the flags, very pointedly, proves his ignorance and stupidity. And she's listening to this. I don't want you to be like him. I don't want you to be useless like that, and I don't want you to be ignorant and stupid, and I don't want you to get killed for an ideal. That's enough. You're doing a good job. And he switches the beration to that. What are... that's why I put you in charge. You don't need to do it if it's too much. Nope, I'm still going to do it. What does the Republic flag stand for? Freedom, equality, brotherhood, justice, and nobility. You won't find that shit here. No, because those things are not in the Republic. They don't exist. You're seeking ideals from others and from yourself and holding them to standards and yourself to a standard. When you know that they're impossible, that's foolish. And he leaves it at that. It's a complicated one. Idealism, idealism, idealism. How do you reconcile believing strongly in an ideal with the impossibility of achieving it? Because definitionally, ideals are impossible to achieve. And then more importantly, they're solidly just not present here. Really interesting. And he doesn't give her an answer either. He just lays out the question. I think that's why when we transitioned the scene, I said something like, but, because I was expecting the show to leave out, to lay it out for us, right? And it doesn't. And I actually really like that choice. I like that choice a lot. Because I think whatever answer they could have tried to lay out would have been flawed significantly. Because I don't think it's a reconcilable problem. I don't think the problem of wanting ideals and being unable to achieve them is something that can be solved. That's really cool. And the war update. This is a cool scene, just visually, auditorily, and thematically, having the comments from him inside her mind and the comments from the propaganda clash in the audio track. It's really solid. I also like this scene where we've got all these tram lines up above, and it feels to me like the people are walking on tram tracks, right? And that Lena's the one that's stuck and is off a track. It's a good visual. It's solid. Okay, I'm going to skip through because all this happens. She runs and she connects. Boom. And she makes her way to the memorial, makes her full apology, tells her name, and requests twice that she get their names. And he says, if you're bothered by it, there's no need to be. It's not what we all think. Well, you didn't create this situation and you can't fix it on your own. We're aware of that. You can't blame yourself for not doing the impossible, but it was rude not to ask your names. There are some things that I could do. And he's like, yeah, well, we understand why that's not done. It's to dehumanize us, so that the handlers don't feel bad about us. And she's like, yep. And I need to know your names. I need to. It's important. That's cowardly. I don't want to do that. I can't keep running away like this. I actually really love this moment. I said it during, but they probably assumed that all that death would be too much for a handler to bear. So you bear the death because you are dying. We don't have to because you're not named characters. I love this, but that's cowardly. And I was too. There's actually something huge here. It is hugely different to be able to point at an action and say, that is a bad action, versus I was a bad actor. It's even different to say that is a bad action, and then say I have done that bad action is different from saying I am a bad actor, right? Running away is cowardly. I have run away. You can say I have run away without saying I am a coward. But if you say I was cowardly too, that's different. It's a character evaluation versus an evaluation of a particular action. It's different. It's how you look at a person. It's how you approach yourself. And it's how it's so much harsher to say I was cowardly than it is to say I ran away. And running away is a cowardly action. It's got no bite to it. I was coward, big bite to it. Really interesting. I love this little transition from Lena because it is really important that she does this. says not just, that is cowardly. I was too. I love it. I really like it a lot. So please tell me your names, please, please, please. And so he starts listing them out, and it's sick. It's just a good scene. I just think it's a good scene. I was hoping that we would do something more with the memorial, and we do. What are you doing? Well, I'm leaving Kaye's name behind, and we do it through the audio of him like stabbing into it, right? Because he's stabbing into her name, and that's how we teach it, how we show it. Really good. This is perfect because there's no way she should know about this, right? In fact, how many handlers have ever known about this? Probably none. Probably never, right? Why would they? So that's cool. That's cool to me. How many have died? Ugh, 561. Yikes. I remember them, I carry them with me, and that is why I am Undertaker. I'm sorry, truly. And she's looking at the thing. I actually thought she was going to stab a pen in there and write their names down or something. It was so cool. Can I have your names? And we cut in to the ED, new ED. Here. Love it. Okay, we bring it in. This is good. This stuff is great. So we get Theo's conversation, and all of them are very clear and very explicit. You are not my friend. You are not going to be my friend. We are different. You are in a position where you're going to hurt us. But now that we're all on the same page with that, we can actually move forward. That's really cool. I like it a lot. As long as you're inside the walls, you're not our equal. You're not one of us. And again, there are lots of unspoken things happening in this whole sequence. I'm skipping through them because I'm skipping through them. That's what's going on. More darts. And I love that we get one right near the bullseye as he goes for the ending statements. And that's really solid. Oh, I'm Theo Torrica. You can call me other things. And makes a little joke. I love this guy's thing. Sorry, your nightly calls made us think of you as a wannabe saint and a hypocrite pig. Oh my god. I love this guy's character archetype. He's just like the deadpan, straightforward, tell you fucking exactly how it is and be done with it type. So good. But then he expects a certain response from her, not realizing how much of a pig she was, and we laughed at how stupid you were. So brutal. So brutal. I apologize for that. I'm sorry. We all just thought you were a stupid fucking idiot pig. Sorry about that. So baller. Anyway, we won't think of you as an equal or comrade. You're an idiot who's stomping on our faces while lecturing us with platitudes, and that will never change, no matter what happens. If that's okay with you, we'll keep talking with you to kill time. But don't. You're not cut out to be a handler. And you should quit. And she hits back in the most chipper way. Little smile. Very well, I will keep calling then. And he actually takes it in stride. Ah, you're a fucking idiot. She passed that test, because that's a test, right? That character archetype is testing you. Looking right at you, telling you exactly how they think of you. You're a stupid fucking idiot. I hate everything about you. Fuck off and die. And you go, haha, funny, dude. All right, let's go. And they're like, oh, all right. We can work. This could work. So silly. So silly. And so perfect. It works great. It works really well. All right, send the map. And we send the map, we go through all the names, and we bring it to the end, and we finally ask his name, and we finally discover, with big spinny Dutch angles, Shore Nozen is my brother. I'm making fun of it, but it is pretty fucking cool. The Skull Knight. And he's a red-haired boy. And there's a moment of strangling here. He smiles broad and says, he's my brother. He is my brother? Like, still is. Why are all the pictures scratched out? Oh, and there's an indication that when his brother was here, this was before the 86 times, because we see Albas in the background, which means they were in the city, right? So they were forcibly moved out of the city. And there's an Alba girl in the background of that one. Flash, flash, flash. Like, these flashes are almost like trauma background, right? Kind of stuff. And then there's this red moment where he's drawing the Skull Knight. And then there's the red moment of unknown person being brought to the ground and strangled. Unknown. He is my brother. And the shadow that lingers. I'm with you. Who will that be? And I think it's really crucial that he says he is my brother. Wonder where Shorei Nozen is right now. And I wonder if he actually is alive. Because Sheen, from what we know, hears dead people, right? Or something like it. And we haven't gotten into that at all yet. Interesting. Okay, I think that's an episode. I'm sure there are a dozen things that I missed as I skimmed through this in the end. I'm positive of it, because there are lots of little intricate character interactions and stuff. But overall, my thought is that this is a great way to bounce off of where we left off last time, and a great way to transition toward Lena doing something. What she's going to do and how it's going to work, I don't know yet. What she's doing right now is just trying to do what she was doing before in a more genuine way, and I approve. It still isn't that helpful, but we've discussed its lack of helpfulness. There's no thought here. The difference, to me, the big difference, is that this is somebody posting on Twitter who doesn't think their Twitter posts are changing the world. That's the difference. The problem with the poster on Twitter is not that they're posting on Twitter. It's that they think they're changing the world by doing so. And that's the part that I thought Lena embodied more than anything. Was the self-congratulatory, I'm doing good, I'm a good person because of this. And now that's been washed away for the most part. The goal to get there, that idealism, is still there, and it's still complicated, but it's been washed away. And now those Twitter posts don't have that self-righteousness to them. They don't have that, I'm better than you because I think this way about this thing. She's just trying to be better, and I like it a lot. Cool, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Teeaboo. This has been 86, episode 4. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to catch you next week for more. Next week's episode will be up on the Patreon. Bing, bing. And, lovely. Thank you all so much for your support and for your comments and for your thoughts and all those things, and I'll see you there for more. Peace.